Okay, so today what I want to do is just kind of show you how I set up a tree, and I want to attempt to add some wind animation to the top of it. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown on this. So I already built the spruce tree today and got it exported at about the right size that I want and imported it in. So I got that set up, and it's now in the engine. And what I'm going to do is just quickly set up a texture file. So what you can see here is in the preview, there's all the alpha channels around them. And now I'm still having the issue with the underlying vector shading coming through. I thought I could map that out to white, but the setting didn't take, so it didn't work. I'm still working with hopefully the forum and with the RGP Developer Bakin developers, and hopefully I can find a way around this, because it's just such a good program and such a resource for this style of engine. It's like the perfect asset developer for it. So anyway, one of the things that happens when you import these files is you get these dummy materials come in. So you get one dummy material for each one of these, and I think that these are probably the normal maps, and it just doesn't bring them in properly even though they're labeled _normal. So I'm going to, if I go into AG mode, I can probably do that, but I don't really need them in discard mode. However, you can't remove them from the object, and they're blank files. They don't take up much. They're tiny little file sizes. But just be aware you will get one for each type of texture material. So here I've got these two are for this, these two are for this, etc., etc. So anyway, first thing I'm going to do here then is I'm going to go into my materials, and I'm going to come down here where I've added the new ones. I'm going to add a new folder, and I'm going to call it spruce. And then what I want to do, I'm going to take, where is it? I'm going to move it all the way down here. There we go. Down to the bottom. Now I'm just going to drag these. There we go. So now I've dragged them into their own folder, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go here, spruce tree 1. So this is the bark, and I am going to set it up here so that we can actually see it on the spruce tree model from the top pull down. I'm going to zoom in here, and you can see that you can't really see, it's not using any of the natural lighting in the map mode. So what I am going to try doing here is just go down, and I am just going to go map no lit. And that's the easiest one for bark. That means it doesn't absorb any of the lighting properties out of the model itself and how the environment interacts with it. Because obviously the environment isn't interacting with it, the vertex shading is interacting with it. So I'll just bypass that and set it into map no lit mode. So now I'm going to go to the next one, and this is, here we go here, spruce tree branch, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with it, map no lit, and then I'm going to view that on the model as well. Perfect. You see the branches kind of showing through there. Then I'm going to go to the leaf pattern here, and now I'm not going to leave backface culling on because this is a leaf. I want to make sure that I have double-sided on, because it's just a texture image for that leaf, and it's just a mesh. So what I want to do now is I'm going to come here to map. I'm going to come down here to map no lit discard. Alpha makes it transparent, additive makes it translucent. I'm not sure exactly what modulate does, but it doesn't work for me. So I'm going to go to discard, and then what I'm going to do is this 9. I like a little bit of an edge, just because of the style I'm going for. So you can see how there with a 3 it gives me a bit of an edge, 2 it gives me more of an edge, 1 it gives me quite a bit, and 0 goes away completely. So one, you'd use this maybe if you were going for a cartoon style. I'm going to just go here on the spruce tree and I'm going to zoom in to show you the difference. So you can see here, it's definitely a little more like a game engine-y style. Like it definitely doesn't look as real. It's got a little more thickness, a little more black to it. But if I change this to, you can see that a little better. And 3, it just looks a little more realistic. But you could get away, if you went with 10, you could get away with less polygons, and you could use less branches, because it's going to just fill it in that much more. You can see how that's, even from a little bit of a distance here, you can see how that's makes a difference. Right? And just the more you go, the more it alphas out. So I'm probably going to leave that at about 3 there. I like that pretty good. I'm going to hit OK. What else is down here? See something hanging out down here. Oh, it's another branch. I got another branch texture. Okay. Where is that other branch texture? Roll it discard. Bring it right down. Perfect. That's better. There we go. And now you can see I've got this little spruce tree hanging out. I'm just going to jump in to show you how that looks. You can see, can't really even see the tree here unless I zoom right out. And you can see it up there. It's a pretty big tree. There you have it. A few little scraggly branches sticking off of it. Probably get rid of those all together actually. I don't really need them. I'm probably going to rebuild this. I use my Irish cliffs texture too, by the way, just because it's kind of a neat broken up grass pattern. Out of Bakin Pack 1. It tiles a little bit, but that's alright. So yeah, so now I'm going to exit out of there. So what I want to do, just to show you this though, is I'm going to actually scale the tree down, bring it down in height, up there, bring the whole thing down in scale. Perfect, okay. That should be pretty good. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to jump back in and I'm going to show you, I want to make this animate a bit. So what I want to do is make the tops of these trees animate a little. And I'm going to try this. Now I've done this successfully with willow, but I haven't with sorry, I'm just seeing which one of these I wanted to work on here. I'm going to move this around, these branches. So this is the shape over here of this branch. So all I want to do is make these move around just a little bit. And so in order to do that though, I've actually got to change this discard mode now. And this is going to dramatically change the appearance of it. Let me just put this into tree mode. Okay, and I'll zoom in. Because what's going to happen now is these greens are going to take on the color of the polygons more. And that's going to bleed through a little bit more, unfortunately, because the vertex shading will bleed through. Map, wind, discard. Turn this down. That at 3 again. And you can see it's moving around. we're just going to go OK on that. And we're going to come back whether to fix. So you see how that's moving there? You do use that for more of a grass, I think. So here I just wanted to move these around a bit, but they're moving quite a bit. They're moving a lot more than I would like. And what you'll see is they're shifting around and doing kind of this weird scatter thing. So what you want to do is you want to, I'm going to turn my specular a little bit. That helps a little bit. Not much. Okay. Anyway, I'll turn the roughness down just a bit too. There we go. It just kind of makes that a little bit better, a little more sprucey. Okay. So what I wanted to do here was these forces. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them all to 0. X and Y to 0. And we're going to see what Z does. So now Z's moving them kind of back and forth. If I go this way, they're not really moving much at all. So if I set that one to 0, I'm going to come in here to X. I'm going to set to 2 because I want to exaggerate this to show you. So you can see how that's really moving in one direction. And so you can see it's going this way to this way. Now if I change that to 0, and if I do the Z to 2, because they use Z differently in this engine, now you'll see it's going bottom to top, shifting that way. So you can actually change this depending on which direction you want the wind to go in your game engine, right? And then if you want to go up and down, you can see how this is moving up and down now. So you can play with those values how you want. So I don't want it to move up and down at all, but I want it to barely move in this direction. We're going to move to 0.2. And now we just have it slightly ruffling in one direction. That's all we want, just a little bit of ruffle in the branches. In fact, I'm going to actually turn that up one more. Let me get 0.3. Oh, let me force X. Yeah, 0.3. Perfect. I like it. Now I hit OK. And there you can see now the tree is ruffling in the wind just a little bit. We'll jump in there with a test play. Zoom. Walk out to this corner as much as I can. And there you can see it. The tree's ruffling in the wind just a little bit. So, nothing too crazy, but looks good. Just a little bit of motion, a little bit of animation. All handled in engine. So there you have it. That's how you set up for one of these trees to animate easily in the wind. And because it's done in engine, you can apply it to any tree with any foliage if you want to. Now keep in mind it does take some more resources. So you don't want to necessarily do this with an area mile by a mile and every tree in it. But if you've got a path, say, that wanders through middle of it, then, do the animation on the ones closest to the path or where you can see them easily in the distance moving, not too far away. And then anything back in the distance, no animation, lower poly, and anything way in the distance, just maybe one of those 2D static billboard images. So anyway, there you go. That's the lesson for today. That's all I wanted to show you. So I hope you learned something from this, and I hope it's useful for people. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.